Hello and welcome. My name is Meepolis, they, she, he. And today we're looking at Kwändũng by Cole Pauls, published by Kwändũng Press late last year in November 2022. As I mentioned in my TBR video, while I wasn't aware that we were getting blessed by yet another collection of Paul's zines so soon, when I saw it on my library's recent acquisition page, I had to pick it up ASAP. Check out my initial review of his work, a fluorescent orange zine bind-up Pizza Punk, for a bit more personal detail. And while you're at it, why not check out Dakwada Warriors? Links in the cards. What keywords came to mind reading this book? Culture, heritage, community, language, teaching, learning, colonization, the land, art, and sovereignty. The summary is as follows. Quote, Indigenous Voice Awards winner Cole Pauls returns with a robust collection of stories that celebrate the cultural practices and experiences of Dene and Arctic peoples. Gathering Pauls comics from magazines, comic festivals, and zine-making workshops, these comics are his most personal work yet. You'll learn stories about the author's family, racism and identity, Yukon history, winter activities, southern Tutchone, language lessons, and cultural practices. Have you ever wanted to learn how to knuckle hop, or to acknowledge and respect the indigenous land you're on? Or how to be an ally to indigenous people? Well, gather around and hear this Kwändũng. End quote. Much like the rest of his work that has been published so far, rather than being a straightforward graphic novel, Kwändũng is a collection of previously published material, which isn't always my favorite thing, but is sometimes necessary to make sure that material continues to be available and perhaps even more widely so. I also felt like once I closed the book, I wasn't left with any strong feeling that anything was missing, although that is a pretty personal judgment. It is definitely a window into what makes Cole Pauls, which he can certainly describe better than I do. So pulling a bit from his afterword, quote, I grew up in a community where skidoos, moose meat, and driving up the highway were normal things. I never realized how special my childhood was until I moved to Vancouver and discovered how different my upbringing was from everyone else. I hope this book reflects that. Even though I drew these stories, I know they are not mine. They are my community's stories. They are my family and friends' stories. They are my collaborators' stories. And they are stories for you to tell each other. End quote. Looking at representation, obviously this is a very personal work, which often limits the amount of diversity that ends up being included. That said, the issue of race and the colonialist idea of blood quantum are explored through Paul's own experience, with people assuming he is appropriating the culture he participates in. Gender did see some diversity, although none explicitly labeled as outside the binary. And while non-heterosexualness didn't come up, neither really did heterosexuality either, so it all seemed to even out in the end. Class felt a bit less highlighted, although it continues to be impossible to ignore Paul's grungy punk roots. In the best way, of course. Thoughts on disability and ability were the most lacking, although not unusually so. To conclude, a collection that goes beyond the 101 and in a way that is highly personal. I look forward to picking up even more of Paul's work in the future. 5 stars. Bye y'all, keep reading, and organize to end capitalist oppression. And as always, Literally Graphic is created on land that should be given back to the traditional landholders, which in this case is, to my knowledge, the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation.